Hey everyone, welcome back to another deep dive into the human body. Today we're talking about a super important, yet often overlooked, greenish liquid that plays a vital role in digestion, bile. Yes, bile isn't just something you hear about when you have a stomach ache. It's crucial for breaking down fats, absorbing nutrients, and getting rid of waste products. So let's explore what bile is, how it works, and why it's so important for your health. As always, if you're prepping for the MCAT, be sure to check out our app, King of the Curve, for more in-depth study resources. Let's start with the basics. Bile is a greenish liquid produced by the liver and stored in the gallbladder. Think of it as an alkaline soup filled with organic molecules that help the body digest and absorb fats. Bile has a few key ingredients: bile salts, phospholipids, a bit of cholesterol, and bilirubin, a pigment that gives bile its color. So, what's the deal with bile? Why is it so important? Well, lipids or fats don't mix well with water. Bile comes in and emulsifies or breaks down those fats, making them easier to digest. Without bile, your body wouldn't be able to absorb fats, leading to all sorts of digestive issues. Alright, now let's talk about how bile is made. Bile is created by cells in the liver called hepatocytes. The process starts with cholesterol, which is converted into two main bile acids, cholic acid and chinodioxycholic acid. Once in the intestines, these primary bile acids can become secondary bile acids, like deoxycholic acid and lithocholic acid. Next, the liver conjugates or attaches amino acids like glycine or taurine to the bile acids, creating bile salts. And it's these bile salts that do the heavy lifting when it comes to fat digestion. Once bile is produced in the liver, it flows into the left and right hepatic ducts and makes its way to the gallbladder, where it gets stored and concentrated. Now, let's see how bile moves around your body. After you eat, your food turns into a slurry called chyme as it enters the duodenum, the first part of the small intestine. This triggers cells in the intestinal lining to release cholecystokinin, or CCK for short. CCK is a hormone that tells the gallbladder to contract and squirt bile into the common bile duct. At the same time, CCK relaxes the sphincter of Oddi, a valve that controls bile flow into the duodenum. Once there, bile mixes with the chyme, and the bile salts get to work breaking down fats into tiny droplets. Bile salts are special because they're amphipathic, meaning they have hydrophilic, water-loving, and hydrophobic, water-fearing parts. This allows them to form structures called micelles, which help to emulsify fats. These micelles surround large fat globules, breaking them into tiny droplets. This dramatically increases the surface area for the enzyme pancreatic lipase to work on, digesting fats into fatty acids and monoglycerides. Without bile salts, these fats wouldn't be digested or absorbed properly, leading to issues like steatorrhea, where fats end up being excreted in the stool. In addition to breaking down fats, bile helps with bilirubin excretion. Bilirubin is a yellow pigment that comes from the breakdown of hemoglobin in red blood cells. When red blood cells are destroyed, macrophages break down hemoglobin into heme and iron. The heme is then converted into biliverdin and eventually into bilirubin, which is yellow. Bilirubin travels to the liver, where it's made water-soluble and then excreted into bile. Once in the intestines, bacteria convert bilirubin into urobilinogen, and this is what gives feces its brown color. Some of it even gets reabsorbed and makes urine yellow. Bile salts aren't a one-and-done deal. In fact, about 95% of bile salts are recycled through a process called enterohepatic circulation. After doing their job in the intestines, bile salts get absorbed back into the bloodstream, travel to the liver, and are secreted into bile again. This recycling is super efficient and ensures that the liver doesn't have to constantly make new bile salts. So, to sum it all up, bile is produced by the liver, stored in the gallbladder, and released into the intestines to emulsify fats, aid in digestion, and get rid of waste products like bilirubin. Bile salts help break down fats into small droplets, making it easier for your body to absorb them. And thanks to intrahepatic circulation, bile salts get recycled and reused multiple times. Understanding the role of bile is key for anyone studying digestion, especially if you're prepping for the MCAT. For more resources and personalized practice questions, be sure to check out our app, King of the Curve, and visit kotc.me for all your study needs. See you next time.